Hi, welcome back. As promised in my last video, I'll be teaching you my savings tips to keep 70% of your income. I knew early on that the road to financial freedom is a difficult one. While I love the work that I do, I would also love the freedom to choose so if ever. In addition, many Filipinos will depend on their children after retirement. The average savings rate for retirement of a Filipino is at 4 months. That's way below the Asian savings rate of 2 years. It's important that you have these strong long-term goals because the lifestyle and practices that I'm teaching is not one most people will choose. For me, every peso spent is a peso hard-earned. That doesn't mean we can't enjoy life. The point here is to focus on what really makes us happy and to reduce what does not. I've been using this savings method since my first paycheck and used it to reach my first 1 million pesos before age 25. And as I've grown older and my income has increased, I've continued to use this method to build wealth. I call this simple method intentional spending, and I break it down into 3 steps: record, reflect, and reduce. The point here is to be more honest and mindful with our finances. Now, before we move on to the savings tips, please do like and subscribe. This will help YouTube spread financial literacy to more Filipinos. The first step is called record your budget. Before we can even talk about saving 70% of your income, you first need to know how much money is coming in and coming out. Income minus expenses equals savings. Now, many people have their own style of doing this, but personally, I record my budget every day. For money that's coming in, since most of us are employed full-time, we know this amount. Now, if you're working a sideline, freelance, or have a business, then I would just get the average earnings every month. I believe the real challenge is in expenses. After all, how many of us really know what we're spending on? And I find this to be a problem because in today's world, everything's digital. You may have your food apps and e-commerce installed on your phone, and these will be linked to your wallets and your credit cards. And it's so easy to click and spend money. I record my expenses through a mobile app. There are so many free apps nowadays which can be very helpful to you. Personally, I use Money Lover, and it works for me because I can break down my expenses into different categories such as groceries, utilities, and even gifts and donations. Do this for 2 to 3 months and you'll be able to know your expenses. Once completed, you'll be able to fill out the equation of income minus expenses equals savings. Now, you're either going to have a positive or negative savings amount. If you're positive, good job. If you're negative, don't worry about it. There are always ways we can improve. Don't feel so pressured to get your finances right today. It's more important to build money consciousness and the right financial habits because this is a long-term game. Step 2 is to reflect on your expenses. You will notice a pattern. You will have regular monthly expenses and large one-time expenses. Depending on your stage and situation in life, regular expenses are things such as rent, food, and medicines. Now, large one-time expenses which may occur quarterly or annually, these include education if you have kids, or insurance if you have term insurance. For large one-time expenses, I would just divide this by 12 and add it to each month. I'm breaking the step into 2 parts, and first we're going to tackle necessities. I want you to record your biggest necessities. You can do this with a notebook and pen or on a computer, whichever works for you. Necessities are things such as a place to sleep and food to eat. The bigger the necessity, the bigger the opportunity to save. You may be wondering, how do you save on necessities? This is where it gets really creative because everybody has their own image of what a necessity is and how that is spent on. Let's take, for example, rent, a place of living. A 1-bedroom condo here in BGC costs 25,000 pesos. Now, if you're earning over 6 digits a month, maybe that's quite small for you. But for others, it's like, wow, that's expensive, right? But the reality is, you can further cut this down. If you get a roommate or 2, you can bring down your cost of rent by over 50%. If you choose to live across BGC, that brings it down to just 30%. Now you'll have to walk double the time and the environment is quite different, but it gets the job done. And of course, the cheapest thing to do is to just stay at home and commute from wherever that is. The same thing can be said of food, which is a necessity, but there's a widely different cost between eating out and eating at home. Now, of course, you're going to have standard necessities such as medicines, and when it comes to that, let's not think about saving on those. Part 2 of reflection is on luxuries. Now, luxuries can be a very subjective word. For some Filipinos, eating out in a Jollibee is a luxury, while for others, it's about shopping, buying iPhones, or new cars. I personally live a simple life and I enjoy everyday things. I have no car, I have no subscriptions, no Spotify, no Netflix, no premium accounts, and no gym. I'm able to use free resources online and I work out in my room or go jogging in the park. Now, I won't be winning any bodybuilding awards, but hey, I haven't gained weight in 5 years. On the other hand, I've seen a friend buy 4 pairs of shoes because they were on 50% off. And others, I've seen them sign up to gyms which they go once a week. Now personally, I have nothing against these people because it might what make them really happy. Or they could have been saving up for these items. And I'm very thankful because they allow me to live the simple life that I want. The point here is to reflect and be more intentional with our spending. I do bring out money once in a while. For example, if I want to travel. But it's very intentional, and because I don't spend on other things, I'm easily able to set a budget for this. The third and final step is to reduce. Now before you do this, go take a rest and maybe you want to sleep on it. And when you have a fresh mind, open your notes and see what areas can you improve on. I regularly do this and I constantly find that things or certain expenses have crept up into my life. It could be a new diet, a new subscription, and after reflection, these may not truly make me happy, so I reduce. I find this also to be an effective method against lifestyle inflation because as we grow older and make more money, we tend to spend more and reward ourselves. But this constant process of reflecting and reducing helps guard against that. The strategy I've laid out today is a reflection of my journey so far. It's what's helped me over the years to build and keep my wealth. Now, there's no one correct way of doing this, but I do hope what I've taught you today helps you in the future as you build your wealth. If you liked this video, please do give it a thumbs up and please subscribe. I'll be making more videos on how you can save and build your wealth in your 20s and 30s. Bye-bye!